Alright, I'm going to make this video as fast as I can. So, today is Notes 9.4, Transformation Type and Double Prime. Alright, so you should have this, when you have it folded, this should be the front, and then you'll glue it in when you're done. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way, and let's get this party started. Okay, so we're going to label what type of transformations are happening. So in this first one here, we have our shape, and then we have the shape here for A, and it doesn't look like it got turned or flipped. It looks like it started in the corner and then got moved around. So this is going to be a translation. In the next one here, it's still congruent, but this time it doesn't look like it was flipped. It looked like it was turned about 270. So I'm going to say rotate 270 degrees, which makes sense because if I draw in like an XY axis kind of thing going on, it looks like it went 1, 2, 3 times around. All right, and the next one here, this looks like it got reflected, and in this case it looks like it reflected through the y-axis. Okay, next one. Number 1 is considered the pre-image. So what happens from 1 to 2? So if I'm looking at this from 1 to 2, it looks like it got reflected. And we'll put a line here. Let's see, it looks like it got reflected across the x-axis. And then from 2 to 3, the shapes look the same. Nothing's turned or flipped. So in this case, everything is looking the same, just in a different spot. So that's going to be a translation. So in this case, it translated, I'll start at a corner here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left, and 1, 2 down. All right, I should probably bring this back up. This one, it looks like, here we go, let me do this. I'm gonna start with this corner. It looks like it went 1, 2 down, 1, 2 right. So 2 down, 2 right. So that's that like more specific transformation that kind of happened here. I just picked one of the corners, you know what I'm saying? All right. Next one, we got a double transformation. So first we're going to translate 6 units to the left and 8 units up. So that's for each of these points. So I'm going to do that real quick. You guys don't have to follow along with that one. Okay, so I did the translation, right? That was my first movement, and I gave all of my letters a prime. In this next one here, I'm gonna rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, right? So we're gonna do 1 turn. So if it's in quadrant 2, that means it's gonna be in quadrant 3. This is where you might want to maybe write the points out. I'll do mine at the bottom here. That way you know the translation and make sure you do your point translation correctly. Because in 90 degrees, that means you go AB changes to negative BA. All right, so that means you got to flip them, and then that back number becomes opposite when you move it to the front. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and do it, or pause the video, see if you match up with me. All right, so mine might look a little bit janky in my drawings because my line didn't get very straight here, but I did move it. And so notice how this time I gave everybody a double prime or a double apostrophes looking thing, because this was the second transformation I did, right? First I translated and then I rotated, and that's why it's going to get the double prime, because from the single prime is where I moved it to. Okay, so just be careful with that. Make sure you do those double primes. Let's look at this next one here. So in this next one, we're going to first translate 2 to the right and 21 down. We don't have to do that together. We'll just do that one at a time. All right, so hopefully you guys got that as well. That's right, 2 and 21 down. The second one is going to be reflecting across y equals x. So what I want to do is make sure I draw my line of reflection first, because I will be marking points for drawing your line of reflection. All right, and now remember, for the line of reflection, the rule is AB goes to BA. So why don't you go ahead, you can write all the points out, or you can use the perpendicular rule that I helped you with doing. But either way, let's do it individually and then we'll come back together. So why don't you take a pause, see if you can do it, and then see if you get it right. All right, so it should end with looking like this. Make sure you have all your double primes. Sorry, my line went through my U a little bit, but it should look like this. And if you think about it, right, if you like kind of pretend to fold it, it should kind of look like that. You can see like the outline of mine here, and it kind of looks like that. So that means we did a good job. All right, plus I used the rule. You know, I just did it in my big old brain. All right, so that's the end of this notes. Please go ahead and glue this into your notebook so you don't forget, and then get started on your homework. Remember, it's got 2 parts on there. You got the paper part, and then you got the digital part. All right, have a good day. Make good choices. See you tomorrow.